Jay Cameron, welcome to the Pan-African Lifestyle Show. How are you, Jay?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Harrison. Glad to be here and looking forward to this discussion, this conversation we're going to have. Yeah.
Living a dream, living the African dream.
Fire. And look, we honestly, we gave God his center stage today, and I'm so happy because as people who are believers in the one who rose, it's nice when we can give him his fair due and discussion, especially in the context of Africa, you know. And it is an important topic. A lot of us want to know what to believe. A lot of us have felt Christ before in our life. We have felt that connection, and then there's a conflict with, you know, what we're reading in regards to slavery, in regards to where was God when this happening? How did this happen? And I think it's important, like you said, we don't run from these conversations, but we have them. And thank you so much for actually freely delving into that. As we know, we have to get your book now, but I thank you for willingly going into that section, you know, instead of thinking, can we get back to about the book? No, really, because I'm even going to watch this back a few times. So thank you so much. But let's talk about the adventures of Darren and Destiny.
Sure.
What inspired you? Well, I was going to ask what inspired you. I now know you are a spirit-led man. So what inspired you? We know who inspired you. But let us know how he began to download that in you.
Again, as I've been traveling, I've been getting closer. I've been getting closer to God. And when I say that, meaning all of the noise. Mm-hmm. There's no noise in my conversation. Mm-hmm. So I'm able to hear clearly. And so now I'm able to see and say, okay, wait a minute. There's another generation of children who they're missing out because they might be raised by parents who are not knowledgeable, or parents who don't have an interest, or they may be raised by parents who do have an interest and they don't have the resources, or they're, you know, whatever the case is. And I just wanted to create a resource for those families and those children to not grow up and spend the majority of their adult life like I did, completely misinformed about a place that means so much to me now. And so that's what inspired the Adventures of Darren and Destiny, the children's book series, the activity books, the animated series. And so now, you know, you won't, just so you know, I would prefer people to know me by how I live. So you'll know what I'm doing. You'll see it's action. It's less words. I mean, yeah, I'm on podcasts and I talk and those different things, but I'll back it up. And so when it comes to these children's books, activity books, and animated series, that's just another manifestation of coming to terms with the responsibility that I have. If I get knowledge and I don't share it, then that's a problem for me. If I have an understanding and if I see what's going on and I don't address it and provide a tangible solution, then that's on me. And so that's what this is all about. The tangible solutions are when it comes to, you know, these children being able to have these resources. And I've had children all over. I mean, I went down to St. Thomas, and the children's books were in the store in St. Thomas. And someone I didn't even know was there. I looked, I said, wow, that's my book. I said, look at this. And same thing with the documentaries, telling the stories for a different age group, and to really have these types of conversations, to say, hey, there's more to this story and let's get out. When someone's willing to say it and not even worry about, it's like, I'm not here to just make money. The money comes when you do what you're supposed to do. You know, and when you do it with a level of excellence and you do it with a level of focus, then I believe that what you need will come. And so everything that has been needed for this journey has been provided. Every opportunity has been provided. Every idea has been provided. And so, yes, but I had to do the work too. So it wasn't like I was laying around just waiting for somebody to come along and give me, it was like, no, it didn't work like that. I had to actually write and get the illustrators and write the stories and travel to the different places. But the part about it where it went to a deeper level is overcoming the fear to even get there, because on the other side of the fear was a children's book series. See, if I allowed the fear to stay and dominate, then I never have the children's book series. Then I never have the impact that I'm supposed to have with this life that I've been given. So I have a limited amount of time. There will be an expiration date to my life. Right. So whatever I'm supposed to do within that time frame, that's all the time I'm going to have. But if fear comes in and steals from me, if doubt, if hesitations, if all these other things come in, the fear of the opinions of people come in, then I will get to the end of my journey and say, you know what? I could have written that children's book series. I could have done these different things, but fear came in and stole from me because I allowed it, because I was not willing to operate in the faith that I claim to have. So what inspired it is the need for this information to be out here to change narratives, but then also understanding the assignment and the importance of the assignment that I've been given.
Wow. And how do you balance, entertainment and education in your work?
That's all I do, because one of the best ways to learn is through entertainment. Hollywood understands it. Hollywood understands that they educate on so many different levels. Through entertainment. And so through entertainment, you're able to tap into a variety of learning senses. Some people are visual learners, some people are audible learners, some people are learners by way of actually hands-on experiences and doing, they actually physically do the work, and that's how they learn. And so when you have entertainment, you're able to tap into many different aspects of a person's intellect, their psychology, as well as on a spiritual level, if that's the message that you're trying to convey. And I recognize that. So if I get you to laugh, that's going to lightheartedly, it gives me the opportunity to teach when someone's laughing. That gets them to put their guards down. But then there are moments during the times where you do have to bring that heavy information, but at least if they're receptive to the messaging, because it's not just me lecturing in a talking head, but they're able to say, wow, there's so many different ways. I tasted some food that now I learned something new. I traveled to a different place, and whether it be through video, whether it be in person, whether it be in books, now I'm at a particular place where I can enjoy this and learn, and that's how it all works. If somebody sees people dancing on stage and they're doing some ethnic dances from the continent or from Brazil or from Cuba or from Colombia or from Panama, now they're learning because they're seeing. It's a visual. Now they're hearing. So it's both senses are being stimulated. They're being entertained. And they're like, wow, they dance and they move like us. I didn't realize that might have come from where, that go-go beat from DC might have some influence right there from Senegal. I didn't know that we had those similarities. So that's how teaching part comes in. So that's how I balance it all. Spend a lot of time thinking about the psychology of those who are watching and reading and listening and participating, because I want people to get the message. And that's what makes what we do so powerful. When people come on our trips, they're like, this wasn't a trip, this was an experience. Well, because we thought about it like that, thought about every aspect from the minute they land to the minute they leave. It's not just coming on a trip. And they're like, I don't know what just happened to me. I'm like, I do, because I understood what happened to me. And I just want you to feel free, feel safe to simply say, you know what? I'll come back again. We've had people travel with us 5 times over the past 3 years because they had that encounter. And it was no pressure, nothing weird, nothing spooky, nothing. They're just able to come and flow and enjoy themselves, relax, and have the time of their lives wherever they go with us. So yeah, man, that's what we do.
Man, God is working through you so much. It's just so inspiring to hear it. And I always say, like you said, it's just like, I hate how God has become this poor man's religion. You know what I mean? That has no power, no real substance in it. And I love to see God working, and I'm watching a real Bible story of a man who's slaying a giant, who's actually hands-on, downloading information from the kingdom and executing it here on this earthly realm. And hearing you express that makes me also just know that he is in the business of actually, slaying the enemy with actual, like you say, you use the term practical a lot, and practicality is sometimes demonized in the realm of Christian faith, but you're actually using, in this substance here, he's giving you a weapon, you know what I mean? Whether that be education through the books, whether that be You know what I mean? Even your business. And I want to get back to your business, but it's fascinating for me to hear it in real time, and I can tell it's a true conviction for you, which is amazing, inspiring. But building a platform like you have with impact, maximum impact, it isn't easy, I wanted to ask you, what has been some of the biggest lessons building this?
You have to be patient. To be patient with the journey, to be patient with myself, to be patient with others, and to also be very strategic and intentional and understanding I might not have all the answers in that moment, but to understand that I'm on the right path and it will all work out. So I don't worry. I sleep at night. Am I busy? Yeah, I'm very busy. But I have a great team that I could not have assembled on my own. And so it's all of the years of experiences, from the clubs to the churches, to the stage plays, to the radio, to summer camps, to everything. All of it comes together because I learned how to treat people from mistakes along the way. I've learned I learned myself better. So I've learned how to be patient when I make mistakes. I don't overthink things. I don't condemn myself. These are things that come, the maturation process that happens as you evolve as a person or mature as a person. And so those are the things that the challenges, yes, they're there every day. There's something. But what I've learned is to be patient, surrounding myself with solid people. And I have an amazing team. I could not do this. And these are people from all backgrounds. African spiritual people, Muslims, people who call themselves Christians. They're human beings. But the thing is that I recognize that God has used any and everybody, and you just sit back and you say to yourself, "Wow, it's amazing." Some people who have no religious affiliation, but what they have is a desire to want to connect people wherever it is. I mean, in Brazil, I had a trip to Brazil come up. I couldn't get to Brazil, but the people in Brazil, for whatever reason, however they connected with me, they made sure that everyone was taken care of. My folks down in Colombia operated with excellence. And there's a brother down there, he identifies as being a Christian. So that showed up in how, that was the proof of right there. But now he does it differently. He doesn't do it like everybody else. So a lot of people might question whether or not he's Christian. He said he was Christian, but but I looked at the results of his life, and he said he was on drugs for a while. I said, "Well, how'd you get off drugs?" He said, "I found Christ." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, hey, all right, that looks like some fruit coming from that." So
there you go.
So I said, "Well, but the way he operated his business, the way his children flowed in his business with him," I said, "There's something different there." But my guy Yusuf out in Zanzibar, he's Muslim. He has 2 wives. That's not my thing, but that's his thing. And so he said, "Hey, you know what? That's what he's into." But his children love him. His wives love him. He took care of the people. He operated professionalism. If people want to go to Zanzibar, you're gonna have to deal with somebody who's Muslim in Zanzibar. That's just the way it is. And so what I deduct, I said, I said that when you love people where they are and you treat them with dignity and respect, then that is reciprocated. And that is why people say, "Well, Jay, how is it that you have this huge company all over the world in such a short period of time?" I said, "Because I know how to treat people now. I didn't always know how to treat people." Okay. I said, "I love people with what's inside of me." And so, and then they feel that, they know it. And people always tell me they know I want what's best for them. People who've worked with us, they never traveled on planes before. They were trying to complete their education. And they started working with Maximum Impact Travel in different countries in the world. Finished their education, bought homes, traveled the world. One sister's been with us for a few years. She had never been on a plane before, but then since then she's been to Dubai. She's been to different parts of Europe, and she's been to different parts of Africa because of that. And so when people know and you share the wealth and the love with them, that's also evidence of who the person is. And so again, I'm doing what I do instinctively. And so there, of course, I got haters out there, and I got people who are envious, and people who walk around talking about, yeah, we're about Black people and Pan-Africanism and all that, and they're the main ones trying to tear everything down. You're gonna get that. That comes with the territory. But you don't worry about that. You focus on what you're supposed to do, and then you continue to allow the opportunities to come. And so that's what we do. We make sure we operate with integrity. We make sure that our travel partners, they're compensated the way they need to be compensated. Our affiliates are compensated the way they need to be compensated. Our vendors, everyone. What you don't find is somebody saying, well, you know what, Jay didn't pay us, and I need my money from Jay. That's not the reputation that we have out there. And if there's a problem or a challenge, what we do is to do all of our best to rectify it and to make sure that everybody's good. And so sometimes I will take a loss in order to ensure the long-term win. So I don't look at it. I'm not operating from scarcity. I'm not operating from scarcity. I'm operating from a position of saying, this is the responsibility that I have. I'll have what I need. I'm going to make sure my folks are taken care of. Of course, I've had to let some folks go who didn't have my best interest, but that comes with the territory. And so, Harrison, I tell you, man, those are the challenges, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love what I do. This is the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. And as long as I'm allowed to do it, I'm going to make sure I take care of it and take care of the people who are sent my way, and just do the very best with it. And that's all I can do, man. And the sky's the limit.
And what advice do you have for other Pan-Africanists, who want to have entrepreneurs who want to have the same level of impact as you had?
Well, spend time learning the cultures that you're going to. Spend time with the people. In 2020, I started, and I devoted 5 years to really learning the people. I can go into Zim. I haven't been to Congo yet. I have not been to, that's the one. I have not been to Congo yet, but I can go into Yaoundé in Cameroon. I can go into Lagos or Abuja in Nigeria, or Calabar in Nigeria. I can go into Marrakesh in Morocco. I mean, I can go all over the continent and feel at home. I can go to Havana in Cuba, or I can go to Cartagena in Colombia, or Panama City in Panama, and feel at home because of investing that time. So I say, for anyone out there, if you want, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever industry, make sure that you take the time to invest into it. I've spent probably $1 million in investing time, effort, energy, and money into building what you see with Maximum Impact Travel. We go to 25 different destinations around the world. And so by us going there, I had to spend time there. I mean, the hotel bills aren't cheap. Those flights aren't cheap. And going around and taking people and showing them and making sure that everything's on point. Having to learn the different games that people play on the continent, and the things that you learn. But if you understand, and this is something you really believe this is what you should be doing, then you will have the grace and the strength to be able to do it. And that's all I got. That's all I do. Just follow and live and lead. And when things get frustrating, don't quit. If you need to pivot, but don't quit, because sometimes we quit right before the next step that we're supposed to go on. Sometimes we're supposed to just take one more step and we quit right before we get to the next step, and then we miss out. And those who we're supposed to reach miss out. So just endure and don't quit. That's what I say. Don't quit.
Because I'd imagine that when you're saying learn the place you're going to, I would imagine that sometimes people just make it more business, and they're just thinking about being business savvy, and just naturally that they would be. So they're just thinking of it like a place to make money, and then they're probably putting a Pan-African sticker on it because they're Black, and they can kind of use that as like a niche, if I can say. But right, so you've obviously run into that the way you're rolling your eyes. You can see it from a mile away, right?
Yeah, it's sad because a lot of us will exploit each other. And that's why I warn us to vet a lot of people, Pan-Africanism is a term that can be thrown around loosely, but you want to see the results. And when I say, again, everything goes back to the results, whether Pan-Africanism, whether Christianity or whatever, you want to see the results. But you do have a lot of people who say, oh, this is a quick hustle. I'm going to exploit the emotions of Black people. Everybody wants to go back to the continent, so I can throw together this, or I can do that, and we can just get these jokers in here and get their money. And then they operate it like that. They operate. There's a term in the U.S. called ghetto business, and a lot of times people operate their businesses on a ghetto level. They operate it from their traumas, and so they treat it like a hustle. And when they treat it like a hustle, it shows up like a hustle. And they treat the people as if they're, Negroes. That's I'm being politically correct. And so they treat them like that. And it's unfortunate. And I see it all the time. I've seen it many times in my travels. And I don't associate with those people. So you typically, you won't see them on my channel. You won't see me in pictures with them and stuff like that, because I know now they talk a good game though. If you watch them, they're smooth with it. They're real smooth with that thing. They know how to talk that talk, but they will exploit Black American minds. They'll exploit European, African minds. They'll do that because they understand the traumas and the deficiencies that people have faced, and so they say, "Oh, we can take advantage of them." They don't know any better. They're trusting us because they're focused on the Black and they're focused on the skin color instead of them really being focused on the character. And that's one thing we have to watch out for as Black people around the world, African descendant people, is don't get caught up in the fact that that someone looks like you and just automatically trusting them. We must keep in mind that some of the very people who will be the ones who will take advantage of us are the ones who will look like us. So that's why discernment is so important. And that's why making sure that, as you're navigating in business or navigating in the world, that you become shrewd. And shrewd does not mean ruthless, shrewd and wise, and being very, very careful and protective over what you're building, because others have no problem destroying it. I've learned these lessons. So if you're very meticulous and you have tight systems and you operate it like you're operating $1 million business, even if it's only a $10,000 business, then people won't take advantage of you. Or they'll try to, but you'll already have the systems in place. Invest into laying your foundation, because your foundation is going to be the thing that you need as you begin to build on top of it. If the foundation is shaky, then you're going to find out that the business will probably crumble. If you're a new money person, then don't get caught up in this your first time having money. Now you want to go spend everything. Or hoard everything. Either way, because sometimes new money works where you're afraid to spend, and the new money works where you spend too much. So that's why you want to have solid advisors around you, and you want to constantly and meticulously plan for the future. Even though, again, you don't know all the pieces of the puzzle, how it's going to come together. But I'm always thinking about the future. What's the next move? What are we going to do? If it doesn't happen, then cool. But at least I'm not caught flat-footed and unprepared because I was not planning. So that's my advice for those who have this tremendous opportunity. Everyone else is out here, the Europeans and the Asians, all throughout the continent of Africa, building their best lives. So for those who are continental Africans, European Africans, for those who are in that particular position, African Americans, Caribbean Africans, making sure that you explore the continent and all of the possibilities, because with those possibilities could be the next, you could be doing, you could open a franchise, food, whatever, travel business, whatever it is. But just take what I say to you and take the totality of this message and hear my heart. I mean, this is not just something I wake up to and this is deeper. And again, I'm not out here trying to force anybody to do anything. I'm just a bridge for people to have exposure beyond what we have been limited to on so many levels in our respective countries. You're in the UK right now. I'm in the US right now, but we're having a conversation about the possibilities for the broader global African community. And that's beautiful.
Amazing. Brother, you're a powerful young man. I'm calling you young man, not because I'm saying this.
I'll take it. I'll go with it.
There's so much ahead and so much more to go. And I wanted to know, is there any new, destinations or projects for, Maximum Impact?
Sure. Yeah, we have a podcast that's going to be coming. We're going to talk. I have a new studio that's almost done. Nice. So we're going to be talking about a lot of the things that we talked about today. But of course, we're Central and South America. We're bringing on board. We're going to be doing an Afro-Caribbean cruise experience. So that's coming for those who are interested in. We're doing Black London, Black Paris. So that's coming. Might get a chance to catch you when I get back up to the UK area.
It's gotta happen.
Yeah, we're introducing Dubai for those who are not quite ready to go to Africa yet, even though it's so we're introducing say, hey, we know y'all not ready for Africa yet, so we'll take you to Dubai, get you in the family, and we have a wonderful Dubai experience. So that's coming on board, and we're going to continue building out our African diaspora destinations. We're doing our Gullah Geechee experience in Georgia and South Carolina in the U.S. Wow. We're going to do a Black DC, and we're going to do a Black New York City. So it's nice. Some interesting things even happening on the U.S. front, just to get people used to traveling, because I understand and knowing the various cultures within the U.S., giving them those experiences too. So that's what's on the way.
Wow, amazing, amazing. And one of the final questions, which is the second last one, but I want to know, what legacy do you hope to leave? Not just as a travel, the travel work you do or publishing, but just for the community and the culture.
My main legacy, the main thing that I hope to leave, that I will leave, is that I took action. I took action. I didn't just talk about it. I did it. And I did things that many people who come from where I come from don't do. And it shines a spotlight on those who are doing it, but then gives hope to those who may want to do it one day. So overcoming the fears and living the life. And that's what I hear a lot of people saying, Jay, you're living it. I get it. You are, I've known you, I followed your career for the past 20 some odd years. You are doing it. And that's the legacy, that our children don't have to grow up with misinformation and disinformation.
Right.
And yeah. And so he did it. That's it. And he didn't care what anybody had to say. If you don't like it, too bad. It's like, and so oftentimes people who don't like live your life and come to terms and understand things, that's for them. That's their problem. That's not my problem. My problem be when I get, all of us, when we expire, we're going to be by ourselves. Even if we have a room full of people in there and we're on our deathbed, we're going to be by ourselves when we leave. And we're going to have to answer the questions, and we're going to have to lay there and think the thoughts. Did I fulfill this life that I was given? And I want to live a fulfilled life, and I want to make sure that I leave empty. So I'm kind of full still. So unless, I'm called away, but I still got some more to give. So, hey, I'm trying to get to 100, because 99 and a half won't do. All the church folks like that, right?
They were living, they said, the Bible said something like, those who die younger than 100, they will say the ones who are blessed will live past 100. Something along those lines. So I'm planning to be around for some time, and I know you are too. And I just thought of sharing this with you as well, because you just mentioned what being remembered, how your legacy, knowing you, I would also, not to dictate how I want you to be remembered, but I would definitely want them to speak about how you actualized the gospel, how you got to the bottom of it, how you, as we just said, unveiled the commercialized version of the gospel. I rarely sit with a brother, if anybody, who has asked these questions that you've asked and have not come out the negative side. A lot of brothers are, a lot of brothers are coming out the other side. It's a white man's religion. I'm done with it. I'm basically atheist, basically going into all sorts of things. But for you to have gone there and come out the other side really showed and tell that you went with God. Because listen, God ain't scared of no question.
No.
He ain't scared no. And when we be scared on his behalf, it's silly. It ain't no questions he's scared of. But we have to ask them with, God, I actually believe in you. I'm not going to ignore those experiences I had with you all those years based off this new information I'm getting. I know I felt you. You know what I mean? Like, I've walked with you. I know you healed me that time. I know you came through for me that time. I know I asked you did this. But what's this? Can you show me what's going on here? Look, I got this thing in this book. Show me. And God been showing me, you know what I mean? Like, he's been saying, yeah, I'm glad you asked. And I think you're one of the very few brothers who are getting to that space with God. It's like, and now I think so many people are going to be blessed by this interview. It's like, so many Christian people on the limbo, on the fence. Do I believe in God? And they'll be like, this is what I've been looking for. This is that's. So I thank you for not holding back on that, because a lot of us African, you know what I mean, brothers and sisters are on the fence about our beliefs because of how they have been manipulated, you know what I mean? And like everything you said, like the things are not adding up. So honestly, I pray God blesses you for taking the courage to go that way today. Honestly, I pray that he blesses you because someone will be blessed, not only by your travel advice and the knowledge that he's given you on that regard, but also by how he has communicated to you about this whole propaganda in regards to, you know what I mean, who he is, you know what I mean? And I really know that he's looking for the voices to say, hey, this is what it really is. And this is how you're going to get there. You know what I mean? I know there's a confusion. I know you're hurt. I know you're seeing this, you're seeing that, but this is how we're going to get there. So on behalf of the Saints and behalf of the, you know what I mean, the Pan-Africaners who are Saints and want to believe the both, thank you on two fronts. And for the last and final question, we always end with this. In your own words, what is the African dream?
Ooh, that's a loaded one. That's a good one. It's a loaded one. Well, I think about since the continent of Africa is so vast, but I'll speak specifically about those who were taken from the continent of Africa. And I believe that those who were taken and who were left behind and who suffered the loss of their loved one and their cultures and their families on the continent, and then those who made it over. I believe the African dream for many is to be reunited with their broader African family, and in a healthy way and in a way that everybody can understand. We have very unique stories, but we have very similar stories. And so if we can bring both sides together and understanding, and of course, everybody won't be able to do this, but for those who do it, there will be a level of connection and a level of power and results that we can't even imagine. And so that's what I believe for the global African community, to be able to bridge the gap and to connect the dots and to find some way where we can have those family reunions in different parts of the world and we can connect with one another. And that's what I believe. And that's what I see every time we lead one of these experiences to different parts of the broader African community.
Jay Cameron, what a pleasure it's been, brother. Thank you so much for answering the call that God put on your heart today to accept this interview. It is blessed. Like I said, it's going to bless so many people. It's blessed me, honestly. It's going to really have my head spinning tonight. I'm going to have a really, really good prayer session tonight. Thank you. Thanks to you. I'm going to have to put a good word in for you when I'm talking to God. I'm like, God, bless his way, make it smooth, cover him in the blood. Let nothing go, let nothing mess with him, let nothing disrupt him. You know, just like, as I said, intercede for you, honestly, because I've really and truly been blessed by you coming on the show today. So thank you so much. And also to all the viewers, I just want to thank everyone who has tuned in today. Jay Cameron, you can get him on Instagram. On your Instagram is, I've put up on the screen, but you can say it again.
Sure, at Jay Cameron Official everywhere. YouTube, IG, Facebook, at Jay Cameron Official.
Jay, thank you so much. We will be watching your journey very, very closely, and we thank you so much. God bless you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Living a dream, living the African dream.